am Pablo Vitrinos, special guest director of ERZA. Alongside here is the writer and director of ERZA. Hugo was the person who actually brought me into the project, which I, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. But the great thing about ERZA was, I thought I was like the only person in the world who knew about ERZA.
From my perspective, studying serial killers and how they work and realizing these things are real, these are real experiences, how serial killer minds work, they don't care about their victims or their stories.
The next two victims, he developed a more satisfying protocol.
And I hate to say it because a lot of the scenes in the film were based on, unfortunately, actual torture scenes that have happened.
She is one of the most notorious murderers.
There was this whole talk about ERZA as who the character was, and we're trying to, and where the story takes place. I mean, parts of the stories take place in Hungary, and so a lot of our initial conversations was how do we create a mood around the character? How do we create a mood in an environment that conveys the eerie creepiness of the character?
Can I elaborate?
Another aspect of the character is the character's innate sexuality. I mean, in some sense, this is kind of talking about Elizabeth Bathory, a person in history who used to bathe in people's blood.
Yeah, she actually did commit 600 murders, and I found even more compelling.
Women, on top of that, virgin women.
Right, absolutely, yes. It takes you through a story of a protagonist who is dealing with the anxiety of not knowing who his father was. A character who is delving into the background of a father who had a relationship with a woman like Elizabeth Bathory.
You haven't moved. Are you ill or tired?
I'm tired and I'm ill. But I'm getting better, aren't I, doctor?
And finding that journey, not knowing why he's even on this journey, like many of us are in true life, and not knowing why you're going through a hallway, what to expect at the end of that hallway.
What Davin really represents to me, I think, the norm where people like, I think this whole world has like a certain fetish towards certain things. Either a person has a fetish towards feet, or a person has a fetish over, certain types of pornography that they like to watch, but they're kind of afraid to actually exhibit that because it doesn't actually stand as the norm in society.
To me, I felt that the main character, Davin, was someone that was a chip off the old block.
Is that you on the fetish website? It is her.
It could have been. Did I look beautiful?
You are still beautiful.
You have ERZA, who was kind of like the exact opposite of Davin, where, to her, granted, I'm not that I'm condoning murdering, and but for her, that's her fetish. She has like this whole thing where she's so vain, where she needs to actually bathe in blood to actually make herself feel young again.
As a father, I did base on an actual serial killer who did use the internet to kill, find victims and kill them.
Talking to Hugo about the concepts, what his influences were, we found that Hugo, when writing this, was definitely thinking about some of his earlier loves, say with the early horror movies. He brought up many examples from 70s horror. He even wanted to take it, he even felt influenced from things like Nosferatu, going way further back, silent horror.